Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. It is a Sunday evening. As you see, we have a full house here this evening. We are here for Love Wrestling Reacts for the World on GCW. As you can see, I am joined by, like I said, a full house. We have Pluggo here, we have Carl here, and we have our boy Lawrence here. I will start with Lawrence. How are we doing, my friend? How are we?
I'm doing great. Enjoyed that show. Happy to see all your smiling faces.
Absolutely.
Well,
Carl.
happy to be here, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Carl, how are we doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing good for my first real experience of watching an actual GCW show pay-per-view. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I would agree. We're going to dive into it here, but Pluggo, last but not least, I feel like I can't get rid of you no matter what I do around here. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
But, how
you guys,
you know?
I'm sorry.
You know?
Like Carl said, this was his first GCW. I like it. I love independent wrestling, and this was one of those shows that I was like, if we're talking about it, like I want to talk about it. And it's just by happenstance that you and I talk about the same stuff. So we end up on a lot of these together. I'm really sorry, JP. I can go. It's fine.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No.
But I'm psyched to be here. You get a little extra beards this week mixed in. We got four beards between four beards.
This is between four beards talking about GCW. We have our friend Astrid in the chat saying hello. Always lovely to see you. We got the Swerve Show popping in with a hot take right off the jump.
Ooh.
Saying it was garbage, could have been so much better, but then he said that he left us a like. So we appreciate that, my friend. Thank you.
Wait, we're garbage, but he left us a like, or GCW?
I think he thought the event might have been. I think he thought it was the event.
No, then, for sure. You know. Appreciate you, Swerve Show.
And then Ashford says that Pluggo, you and I are a package deal, and we got our buddy Bobby popping in saying hello. Hey, Bobby, always good to see you. All right, yeah. So let's, and I think. I have watched GCW events before. This was, I think, without question, the most hyped, clearly the biggest event they've ever had. So that would what would prompt someone like you, Carl, or Pluggo, to officially purchase a GCW event for the first time or whatnot, or watch a whole GCW event for the first time. And I think that's the buzz that really this event had in general coming into it. They promoted the hell out of it. You had people on it like Jeff Jarrett. Originally, Eddie Kingston was supposed to be a part of it. Originally, Jonathan Gresham and the Ring of Honor title was supposed to be defended there, which we'll dive into that change when we get to it on the card. But they were building this up to be a special event for the company, and there were parts of the event that I definitely felt were very special and, you know, real tip-top caliber stuff. And then there was some stuff that kind of, but we'll dive in as we go. And Pluggo, you get a fan in the chat telling you to take your shirt off. Don't. Please.
Oh, why? Whoa!
No, hey, to each their own. To each their own.
Hey.
That's Love Wrestling Premium right there.
Yes.
Where that content
You got to
is free.
subscribe for that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
All right, go subscribe.
Coming
All
soon,
right.
the Between Two Beards Only fans.
All righty.
Man.
Jeez Louise. All right. So the show started off with the Pabst Blue Ribbon Kickoff Battle Royal. Did everyone watch the kickoff or all this stuff?
Was that the pre-show?
It was on the pre-show.
Yes.
Just so I gauge it beforehand. Did we watch the pre-show?
I admittedly didn't realize there was a pre-show till about 7:45, and I was like, "Shoot!"
Well,
so
Lawrence watched it, so I'm going to ask for Lawrence's opinion here. So they had the PBR Kickoff Battle Royal. The participants included Psycho Clown, the Dark Sheik, Cole Radrick, Paro, Mo Atlas, Ruckus, Steve Scott, Nate Webb, Big Vin. We had Lufisto was in there. Thunder Rosa made a very cool appearance. She was in the match. Charles Mason, among others. It was a battle royal, as you can expect. Lawrence, I will let you kind of lead since you watched, because I came in about halfway through this battle royal, so I'll kind of let you lead. What were your initial thoughts? Big Vin ended up being the victor here in this battle royal. Just your initial thoughts on the battle royal and how it did to kick off what was the world on GCW.
I enjoyed it. Like, it was as far as battle royals go, especially like pre-show battle royals, they did a good job of highlighting some of the JCW stars on there too that you don't get to see much, who put up shows free on YouTube. Yeah. Usually the weekend GCW shows. Those were the two final guys, in case people were wondering. Like they both, and also like I popped big for seeing Lufisto in there, and the fact Lufisto got a big piece of that match near the end, like that like legitimately made me happy to see her just straight up kicking ass in there.
Well, she was inducted into the Hall of Fame last night, correct? So she was, yeah. So that was very cool to see her with that moment. And obviously the pop that Thunder Rosa got, she's over kind of everything and everywhere she goes. She's just rules. So, I thought it was, from what I saw, which was the second half of it, I did not know many of the participants in there, but I did think it was a very, exciting. Everyone was kind of getting their stuff in. They had really good moments toward the end with Lufisto, particularly. Like you mentioned, Lawrence, I thought that was a good little spot and moment for her to kind of give her that kind of celebration for her achievement the night before and things of that nature.
Yeah. And the fact that, like, for a minute, they made you legitimately think she could possibly win it. She was down to the final four. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Then we also saw a scramble match, which involved Jake Cartwheel, Dante Leone, the Grim Reaper, Ninja Mac, Alex Zane, and Shane Mercer. The Grim Reaper coming away with the victory here. Lawrence, I will go to you again. This was also on the pre-card. What did you think of the scramble? I know the scramble is it's a match that GCW does pretty regularly. It's almost on every card that I've at least watched. There's been a scramble match of some sort.
Usually they do it either at the beginning or right after intermission.
Exactly. It's like, one of the openers or the comeback match, because it's always fast paced. There's multiple people. It kind of gets the crowd kind of into it. And I thought this one was another good one. I've seen them on their shows when they do it, and they've always been entertaining. Shane Mercer stuck out to me in this one a lot, as well as Alex Zane, who's always fun to watch. But it was Grim Reaper coming away with the victory. He had a super DDT on top of a chair to get the victory there. Bobby, I agree with you. Lufisto should be signed to a major company. She's fantastic. And then that kind of led us into what we know as the main card. Beforehand, though, Chris Dickinson and Brett Lauderdale, they hit the ring. And Lauderdale kind of gives a speech about all the places that GCW has been and said there's no place he'd rather be than in New York City. He talks about the beginnings of GCW. He brought in a red chair, which you kind of saw throughout the night. That was from the first ever GCW event. He was very thankful for the crowd. He thanked everybody who supported GCW for the years. He talked about COVID in there and how that had an impact on GCW. It was kind of like a retrospective promo of sorts. And then Dickinson talked about what GCW means to him and what meant to him in his career. And then he also, at the end, the big news is Dickinson announced his comeback from the injury, which will be, I believe, in the spring. He will be coming back on their big spring weekend show. So just kind of Lauderdale kind of celebrating how far they've come as a company, and Dickinson, who's been with the company for a long time, announcing that he will be coming back relatively soon. So that was a nice little promo before we get to the main card. And we started the main card with this Grab the Brass Ring ladder match, which had Jordan Oliver, Jimmy Lloyd, Alex Colon, PCO, Tony Deppen, G-Raver, and a surprise entrant, Mr. AJ Gray, who AJ Gray ends up winning this brass ring ladder match. I'll send it over to Pluggo to lead with what you thought of the match. All I can say is they need sturdier ladders, man.
Oh my God!
They need sturdier ladders.
Those painters ladders.
Yeah, a lot of those people like usually in the ladder matches you see their work climbing those ladders slowly. Tonight they were I'm gonna die, so I need to be careful here.
And I'm pretty sure AJ Gray fell off of the ladder.
Oh yes,
he 100% did. He
100%. He didn't do that on. He was like, oh shit, I can't hold it, I'm off.
Yeah,
but it was a fun way to start a. I think that these are always fun ways to start pay-per-views. It's like a scramble, a ladder match, something like that. I mean, Jordan Oliver is fantastic. I think he was majorly underutilized in MLW. So him getting back into the GCW things, I think he's going to do some big things. AJ Gray, we all know, stud. Getting that was a nice pop he had. PCO showed out. For me, like, he stood out in this match. Like, he was getting a lot of spots and he was taking a lot of bumps. That dude's still getting it. Like I said, I always joke, man, I have trouble getting out of bed. 56-year-old PCO is just taking fucking ladder spots.
Yeah.
But
that not human thing is not a gimmick.
No.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
You're supposed to decline as you get older, not like get better.
People say Tom Brady is going forever. Tom Brady's not jumping off ladders.
No.
No.
Carl.
Overall, let everybody else talk. I thought it was a fine open. It was a lot of fun. It was quick paced, and it got the crowd hyped up, which is what you want.
Yeah, and Carl, I'll slide it down to you. Your opinion on this ladder match, PCO doing, moonsaults from the top rope to the outside, and just everything that was involved in AJ Gray picking up the win. What did you think about this opening contest here?
Jesus. Wow. I mean, ladder matches can sometimes be a huge cluster. This really didn't feel like that. Knowing what the company is and how the company works, 100%, right? But it didn't feel like it was a huge cluster. Like there was a lot of BS that was really going on. This really worked very, very well. I was happy with it. PCO, the French Canadian Frankenstein, like 100%.
Yeah.
This guy's going to continue to go until he dies in the ring. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Which I hope we don't see it. Like
it looks like he's just going to keep going. And we got our friend Ryan here saying great opener. I agree. Ed says that PCO is effing fantastic. He also says that you have a cool room tonight, Pluggo.
Shout out to Mrs. Pluggo. No joke. Literally pre-show, real quick, off air. It's the first I've seen this. My wife did all this today. Like, I thought it was strange that she was keeping me out of the room. Like, I was trying to do some stuff today, and she's like, "No, go take care of this." Like, she hooked it up, so now I just don't have it.
It looks good.
Good. Thank you, honey. Shout out, Mrs. Pluggo. But back to the wrestling. Wrestling.
Parrish popping in saying, "What's up? Good to see you."
This does look good.
It does. You look like a real professional.
No, let's do a full 2 hours on Pluggo's home decor.
Yeah, literally.
Let's just go through the house.
Yeah. No,
I'll save
that
you.
already with this friggin' Christmas trees.
I'll save you 1 hour, almost 2 hours. My wife does it all. She's phenomenal. I have no idea what I'm like, you just do it.
Pluggo's a smart man. Putting
She's
over
good.
the wife all the
She's good at
time.
this
Pluggo's
stuff,
a
dude.
smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man. There was particularly one G Raver did a spot in this match where he climbed the ladder. The brass ring was right there. Was right there. He could have easily just grabbed it. And that part of it, I was like, come on, man. But like, he gets to the top of the ladder, and I think it was Cologne was set up kind of over a table with a ladder on top of him. And he tries it a couple times because the ladder falls off the guy. He hooks it back up and he goes up. And then he's right there with the brass ring, but he's like, nah, I'd rather die. And he just jumps off and he does a senton and he just lands. It was just such a gnarly looking move.
Yeah.
That was a moment. And then later on, he does it on the outside. He did onto the ladder on the outside that was even more gnarly. And then, oh man, there were some spots in that one that were just like
when AJ biffed the spot towards the end, like you could tell he like leaned over and probably was like, I just messed this all up.
He was like moving the ladder that was like in the way like 2 or 3 times, like, all right. And then he was just like, no, this ain't gonna work. And it looked like he just fell into the ladder.
But also, I might have thrown him off because the brass ring, like in every other ladder match I've ever seen, is in the dead center of the ring.
Yeah,
this one was pushed to the
off
front.
Center. Yes.
So it threw because you even a couple times the announcers at the beginning were like, I don't think he's set up to grab this brass ring right because they were setting up a little off centered, and then they realized, oh,
well, they were setting up the ladders in the middle of the ring.
Yeah,
like that's what most people are used to, you know.
And then like, well, yeah, G Raver should have just won the thing. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, although Rye says, and he might be more of a regular GCW viewer than some of us, but he says that for G Raver makes sense. So maybe that's just in the style of the character. Oh, our friends over at Waffle Box Pod popping in saying greetings, gents. Always a pleasure. Thank you for hopping in here.
Yes.
Yeah, but I agree with everybody. I think it's what you expect from a multi-man ladder match. Fast-paced, spots galore, crazy ass shit happening. I thought it was a good opener, and once you know that, and Ryan, I agree. I thought for the most part, there's some stuff that felt a little weird, which I think we'll dive into a little bit. But tonight overall really was a joy. It was a good event.
Well, I have to imagine too, being in the Hammerstein ballroom, there's some jitters, some things they wanted to probably go big and just kind of.
Hey, we want to thank. SP
Oh.
Spurser for a big raid here.
Hey,
Thank you so
Spurser.
much. Rock and roll. We appreciate that. We are talking a little reactions to GCW special event from the Hammerstein Ballroom tonight. The World on GCW. We just finished talking about the opening brass ring ladder match. The next match was a 6-man tag. It was Gringo Loco, Demonic Flamita. If I butchered that, I apologize. And Arez versus Bandito, ASF, and Laredo Kid. This was another fast-paced spot. Great match. We appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much for being here, hopping in the comments. We appreciate that a lot. Hopefully
let us know what you thought of the show.
Let us know what you thought of the show.
Yeah.
Let us know the things that stuck out to you. We're getting to the 6-man tag, the second match of the evening. This match, as Rye says, was nuts. Particularly, I mean, the spot that I think stood out was when they were playing the human chicken. With all three, with every member.
Yeah.
And then ASF from the top of that hits a Canadian destroyer. Absolutely insane spot.
Yeah.
Insane. Oh my God. I never seen that before. I was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe it. But Lawrence, I'll let you lead this one. What'd you think of this 6-man tag and what other spots besides or we can talk more about that one because I could talk about that spot for a while. That was wild. What did you think about this 6-man? Was it a lucha style tag match? That's what they said, right? It was lucha style rules. Okay.
So lucha style, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the second somebody goes out of the ring, the other person, one of the tags, can just come in. There's no tag sort of tag match. But it was absolutely insane. Like I literally got exhausted just watching 30 seconds of that match, and they are still running around at a frantic pace because they're little men who can do crazy flips all the time. It was ridiculous. It was exactly what once you think like, okay, they did one like cool flip to the outside. Then they do 3 more, and then like 10 minutes later they do another spot that up the ante even more. They like these guys definitely saw this Hammerstein Ballroom show as an opportunity and showed out throughout the whole match. I was like thoroughly enjoyed. Like people associate GCW a lot, just like ECW, with the death matches, and stuff. But like they did a good thing of highlighting the immense amount of talent that's in that company. Like now they added Speedball 2, and like these matches are going to get crazier and crazier, and you get dream matches in there coming up. Like it's honestly so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to shout out my buddy KTFTW who's in there. People follow her channel.
All right, good friend. Do that. Yeah, she's in the chat. Always happy to have her in here too. I agree with you because and I was one of these people. But most people, when the GCW, who you heard of Nick Gage or you heard of Cardona, Zack Ryder, Cardona's going there, or Moxley's the champ. So you hear about that, and it has that. Oh, well, that's like if I talk to a wrestling fan of mine who doesn't watch that, and I go, "Oh, I'm watching the GCW event." Their thing is like, "Oh, that's the deathmatch stuff, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but no." Like, there's a lot of so it does have, like Lawrence, you said, that kind of reputation, or I think the majority of a casual wrestling fan will think it's all death matches, but it is not. They have these type of matches. The next match we're going to talk about was one of the better wrestling matches I've seen in a while in general on any company. But yeah, I think they did a good the first half of this show, and really most of the show until besides a couple matches, they weren't using weapons or death match style. These were just pure wrestling matches, and they were really good wrestling matches. Carl, I'll let you go next. This 6-man tag. There was another move, and Rye calls it out, the flip kick spot, which was also very good and something that was innovative and something that I really haven't seen before. Like Lawrence said, they knew this was their opportunity to kind of ball out a little bit and be like, "Hey, we got the most eyes on us that we've had probably in a while. Like, let's do our damn thing, And I thought they nailed it with this match. Carl, I'll let you talk a little bit about it.
First off, the real tight spot. Thank you for the raid as well. That was awesome. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Welcome to the chat.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
We appreciate you too, my friends. Thank you.
Let us know what you think of the show in the comments. We'd love it. The more, the better.
And just like you were saying, JPJ, I mean, this for me, being the first real GCW show that I've really invested myself into watching, even I had thoughts because, yes, you got names like Cardona, Nick Gage, and then, I mean, the brutal match that they had, right? And that's what you associate with it. And I'm so happy that it wasn't. So much good stuff was happening on this show that wasn't just hardcore blood and guts death match type of stuff. It was good professional wrestling. And what does the world want right now? They want good professional wrestling. And that's exactly what GCW offered. And especially this trios tag match here, like this blew me away. I was sitting at the edge of my seat just watching this. I was invested in it the entire time. I wasn't talking to anybody. I couldn't because I was just watching this. It enveloped me, and I was just like, yep, this is exactly what I've needed. Yeah, it's fantastic. I agree.
And Pluggo, I'll let you round this one out before we continue on. But yeah, anything to add about this 6-man tag?
I agree with all of you guys on the points that you made with GCW. Like, I was actually watching this. My kids were still awake, and I was worried, like, I'm about to put on GCW show. These can get pretty hairy. Do I want my kids to see this? And this was one of those where they watched this particular match, and they were totally invested, which made me more invested. And it was like when they took ASF and they threw him into the ring. But
that was a very cool spot, too.
I was like, that guy is so much fun to watch. Like, I just discovered him literally yesterday because I was at Warrior and he wrestled there too. And I got to see him tonight, and he is fantastic. He's a lot of fun. He's a guy I want to follow now for the rest of his career. But no, it was just a really fun, fast-paced match. All those 6 guys look like you said, they were there to show out. Here's our shot. And the GCW, I think, throughout the whole night played the blood and guts to their actual wrestling. Like, hey, we are a real wrestling company. We want to firmly cement ourselves as one of the top in the country, if not the world. And here's what we're offering. And I think they knocked it out of the park in that sense, because I didn't think there was anything egregious tonight that I was like, whoa, like I wouldn't want, my older kids to watch. Like maybe my younger ones, but like my 13, 14-year-old kids, like I'm not worried if I sit down and watch GCW. Yeah, the cursing's a little much, but you get used to that.
Yeah. And like, Rye says that New York State doesn't allow deathmatch stuff.
That's
so
what I
probably
figured.
why it was a little tamer than what you were usually used to. You know what I mean?
Like, so they made a quick reference that like they weren't allowed so much to go into the crowd, because I think there were health guidelines too that were stopping him from doing that.
Probably makes sense.
That limited him a lot throughout the show.
All right. So then we get what we were originally supposed to see was going to be Jonathan Gresham defending the Ring of Honor World Title against Blake Christian. But nothing has been confirmed yet, but I think it was due to medical safety protocol, that Jonathan Gresham was not on this show. So kind of a bummer. And Leo Rush, who I believe was originally supposed to be in the brass ring ladder match, if I believe so. He was then moved to be the replacement for Jonathan Gresham. And he went up against Blake Christian, and these two had one hell of a wrestling match here. This match was fantastic. Carl, I will start with you on this one. Man, I thought this was one of the better matches I've seen in a while. I know the commentary was saying that they were very familiar foes in GCW, so I'm assuming they've done this multiple times in the past, but these two had great chemistry. This was fast-paced. This was counters and reversals and everything that you would want. This was just, I thought, the match of the night, far and away from me, at least. What'd you think about this match between Blake Christian? The impromptu, obviously, because of the situation with Leo Rush and Blake Christian.
So, unpopular opinion here. Okay, I thought it was a good match. Definitely it was. But it was typical Leo Rush.
That I'll give you. I would agree with that.
That was it. It was a typical Leo Rush matchup. Is that a bad thing? Not always. It definitely was a great match to watch. Like you said, fast-paced, go, high energy. It was great. But it was just typical. So it really, for me, wasn't that over-the-top thing that I was kind of expecting.
That's fair. I feel like
I think that was part of the story they told, though, because Blake he was expecting Gresham, and on short notice he gets Leo, and they even, in my opinion, at the beginning of the match started off a little slow, feeling each other out, then business started to pick up. So I feel like if you would have given these guys a month to prepare for this, it probably would have been a match of the year type deal. But in short notice, like you said, is Leo Rush a typical Leo Rush match a bad thing? Absolutely not. It's awesome. I think more Leo Rush is on my screen is better. I think Leo Rush is great for wrestling. I know he's his issues in AEW right now, but I hope he stays on my TV screen weekly. That's all I'm gonna say. This match was phenomenal. Oh
yeah, Lawrence, I'll let you go. Your opinions of this match, and just kind of to hop on with Pluggo and Carl what they said.
Yeah, like a Leo Rush match is always going to be a great match, and they definitely did a great job of highlighting Blake Christian, his name, at the end, like giving him the win, and still making him look strong for the inevitable whenever he gets in there with Jonathan Gresham.
Exactly.
Again, like that match is going to happen for sure, and they did a good job of making him look strong, and just like they let him both go. I'll just say now, like I felt the front end of the card was better than the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, like all the early matches were just straight bangers from the get go, and they felt they gave each one of them ample time to show off what they're what they can do. especially that this was like not a match either of them were planning, and then like it was good booking on their part because it's two people who know each other well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know
exactly.
I know that, Ryan Levy. We know. I'm talking in kayfabe sense. They played it like, oh, it's last minute. I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
We know. Oh, I love you, Ryan. Appreciate your comments, brother.
Waffle Box Pod says, I popped in late, so sorry if you covered this in the intro, but I hope this becomes a yearly tradition at the Hammerstein. Yeah, I think it would be very nice for GCW to have kind of a yearly big show that people anticipate as kind of, hey, this is our company's version of, this is our WrestleMania. This is our big event of the year. Hammerstein's a perfect place. GCW reminds me and a lot of other people, and Lawrence is wearing an ECW shirt right now. That's what they remind me of.
They were chanting that at the beginning of the show.
Like that. That's what they remind me of. Is this today's age ECW?
And if you're gonna tie the Independent Hall of Fame to it too, like they did, like it seemed like, and then you could get some of the names we'll talk about later that showed up. Like, yeah, I think you could make a whole big weekend out of this, especially around like Royal Rumble time, maybe the weekend before where there's not a lot of buzz happening, and just stand out on your own. I would be down to see that be the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to say hi to our friend Tim, complimenting us, calling us a bunch of beautiful bastards there, and also saying that he's at work and he figured he'd run in and say hi. I know. Was he working at 11:40 or 11:43 at night?
Quit your job. What do you need money for?
Oh man, got the hard job working that shift. Good Lord.
Love you, Tim.
Real Tight Spot saying it would be amazing that they could do it, the yearly show at Hammerstein. He said they had the ECW logo GCW shirts, which they did. Yeah. Tim says he's doing inventory, which if you've worked in the supermarket industry at any point in your life, those nights are long. Those nights are long.
Tim and I used to work together. Yeah, I know what he's doing. But
I worked in the grocery store industry for almost a decade. Inventory weeks or inventory nights.
Oh yeah.
Oof,
I currently work at a grocery store, and it's
brutal. Waffle Box Pod saying he loved the production. It looked like this show was happening, and this was just being covered for TV rather than a full TV production, if any of that makes sense. No, it does. I thought it was really good. Some camera views were a lot clearer and better than others. It didn't seem like it was consistent based on the view. I don't know if they were, I'm assuming they rented the cameras and all the equipment. I don't know if it was just whatever, but some camera angles seemed like crisper and clearer than others, and production was for the most part really good. I thought for the size of company they are, for the size of event they were running, I think it kind of went off for the most part without a hitch, but there were some smaller things that were kind of like here or there, but yeah, to round this out, I thought we were watching it kind of as just a group of us. We were watching it for a little bit, and we were watching it with Spencer. And Spencer said, "You know what? Leo Rush is like 5'5" or 5'6", whatever he is, 100 and something pounds, and he throws a very violent spear for someone his size." And I just was like, "Yeah, that's true. Like he does the spear, and he gets that, like, for someone that little to get that much power and speed behind it." Yeah, man. It was a good. He was the perfect opponent to kind of fit in there and just be like, all right, we need you to go out there for 15 minutes and just throw on a banger for a little bit. So, like, you guys know each other. Just go out there and do it, Our buddy Darnell popping in saying GCW was cool. I agree, and we're talking about it here. And we are about to dive into Matt Cardona versus Joey Janela. This match was all over the place. Good Lord. Ton of shit going on here.
That match was like a Thursday night on Between Two Beers. It's just everywhere.
People were everywhere.
I felt best described as like Cardona's Funhouse.
Yeah.
It was like his Firefight Funhouse match where he brought out everything that he's known for.
Unbelievable. Matt Cardona does get the win here, but in the middle of it, we see Chelsea Green turn on Matt Cardona, give him a kick in the crotch. And then she's like egging Joey Janela to go to the top rope. We got him.
Okay.
And then Janela goes to the top rope, and then it was all a ruse. She pushes Joey Janela off the top rope. Cardona's wearing a cup. And then we start getting people's galore. Smart Mark Sterling shows up. He says he has someone with him. He said he has someone with him that is very influential on Matt's career. He says, "Come on out here, Vince." And then we see someone come out in a Vince McMahon Halloween mask. He takes it off, and it was Virgil coming to get that fuck money. Coming to get that fuck money. And he's doing that. Then he disappears. Then we see Marco. Then Swoggle is under the ring. He's preventing Joey Janela from getting in the ring. He gets in there. Then we see Marco Stunt come out. He attacks Swoggle. Everything's going on everywhere. Smart Mark Sterling takes a big bump. Chelsea Green's giving Canadian destroyers.
And then we see
what?
What's the big guy's name that was fighting? What's his name? I'm blanking on it.
I don't remember.
He was fighting Swogs. The big dude that did the moonsault.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. He popped in there. I forget who that was, but they said he's only been there for a few events. Big boy. He's fighting He's fighting Swoggle. All of a sudden, he does a moonsault that misses, and then we see kind of a throwback to ECW One Night Stand for those who watched it. And it's cool because it's obviously Cardona and Brian Myers, the Edgeheads. So for them to do it, you see a guy slide into the ring wearing the all black and the bike helmet, and he spears Janela through the door. They had doors as weapons tonight, through the door, and it's Brian Myers. Call back to Edge, and that gives Matt Cardona the victory. And then,
my God.
Oh my God!
It's Brian Myers.
It's Brian Myers. So that happens. So before we get to the end part of this match, which was one of my big pops of the night, I friggin' loved it. Plug, I'll let you go first.
Why?
What? Because I'm the lead here. I get to pick who goes first. I'm picking you. All right, that's why.
So we just talked about like 5 minutes ago how GCW, this was like you got your casual fans, right? You got them hooked. If you were to take this match and try to explain it to a non-wrestling fan, they would give you the what the face. Like I was so confused because again, I don't watch GCW regularly. I keep up and kind of keep tabs, but I don't know all the nuanced stuff. So even in the middle of the match, the announcer team was like, "This is still Matt Cardona versus Joey Janela," like because there was a good 5 minutes of like Marco Stunt was in there doing his thing. He got blonde hair now, Swogs, like you said, like it was just pure pandemonium. It was like this, like you said. I think it was like the Firefly Funhouse version of Matt Cardona. Which, no disrespect to Joey Janela, but Matt, if you got to pull out all those stops to take out old Joey Janela, man, like, what are you gonna do?
This is former GCW heavyweight champion.
No, I'm not
right?
Yeah, no, I'm with
GCW
you.
Heavyweight champion.
But Joey Janela, I love Joey. Joey looked great. I thought Joey
looked
killed
in
it.
great shape. He
Great
looked in
shape.
real good shape.
He had some really awesome spots. I think Chelsea and Matt played up perfectly. Like we've talked at nauseum that they are just on fire right now. And like Matt Cardona could have took the easy payday and been the woo for the rest of his career on the indie scene if he wanted to, but no, he decided, let me do this complete 180 of my character and become like the most hated man in indie professional wrestling. This match and some other matches like really showed me GCW doesn't take kindly to outsiders, whether it's fans or wrestlers. Like they're all in on, if you're not a GCW product, we hate you. And Matt Cardona is just like, all right, I'm going to run with that. And just so I thought it was fine. I don't know if I would call this like match of the night. I thought it was too much. Like it was like so much, but the end, like we'll talk about, tied it in, and it made you forget about all that crazy.
Yeah, and our buddy Dare Amazing says it was Sam Stackhouse.
Thank you.
Guy's name, Sam Stackhouse.
He is a big guy.
Yeah, he was.
And he did a moonsault off the top rope.
Yeah, he did.
Good for him.
He did. Yeah, it's impressive. I can't do that, so good for him. All right. So after the match, they get the victory, and they're in the ring, and then all of a sudden, we hear the D-Generation X music. I also love how GCW just doesn't give a damn, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we're playing whatever. Like, we're gonna play this music because that's what people know." They play and X-Pac, one Sean Waltman, is there, looking in great shape. He comes down to the ring. He hits a couple spinning side kicks and an X Factor on Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, and him and Joey Janela stand tall. This popped me, Lawrence. I'll let you kind of lead here, man. Like, what'd you think of the X-Pac return and just the clusterfuck that was Joey Janela and Matt Cardona?
it was like full sensory overload, the entire thing. It was like if like a 12-year-old booked the match, and like it was like every 2 seconds there was something else, so it was hard to focus. Like you mentioned how the announcers are like this is still Matt Cardona versus Joey Janela. It sounds like they're convincing themselves. Like, is this still did the match end and we're just still talking about something else? Are we still at GCW? What's going on? Like, I popped for X-Pac like everyone did. Like he looked great out there for like the few seconds for like the minute or two clearing out the ring there. Like, I'm happy he's like out of everyone in the NWO DX era, he is looking the best by far.
Oh yeah,
right now, like he looks like he's ready to go and can do a few more matches. So I'm happy to see him at least in GCW. And like it was like the match itself was fine. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. Like it was fun. There was some fun spots in there, but it was a like fine, okay match. Like it didn't do much for me.
For sure. And Darren Amazing says X-Pac was cool to see, and I've heard he was cleared to wrestle. That is true. He is cleared to wrestle. Yep. And Waffle Box says it was like someone describing a weird dream, and then Hornswoggle got put through the door, and then an 8-foot tall guy did a moonsault, and then X-Pac was there, and then I woke up.
Yeah.
I thought X-Pac was gonna turn. I thought it was gonna be like a Brian Myers, Matt Cardona, X-Pac,
like a WWE
like a new world order.
Yeah. Carl, before we move on, do you have anything to add about this crazy convoluted million things happening at once match between Matt Cardona and Joey Janela?
We are not going to be the only podcasters that are saying that this shit was crazy and should never have happened the way that it did. 100%. I hope that GCW hears this and maybe takes a little bit of a lesson from all of us that are going to be talking about this. I would have been perfectly okay with it just being Brian Myers and Sean Waltman. The two of them coming down to do something. That would have been okay. The rest of it, what the?
Yeah, a lot. There was a lot happening. There was a lot happening for sure.
Like when Cardona heard it, when he started bleeding, did he out of his hand? Right? Did he cut his hand?
No, I think it was his nose.
It was his nose. Did they maybe? Did they maybe like we?
You didn't like
obviously they planned all those people being there. But do you think they extended, like the Marco stunt stuff went a little longer than I would have liked, just for the sense that like really took away from the match? Maybe Cardona was banged up a little more than we thought.
Possible.
They were just buying time because it just seemed like you said, it seemed like there was a beginning to the Cardona match. Then there was the stuff in the middle that it felt like 5-6 minutes. Then we got back to it, but then they did more. It was just there was a lot of stuff on top. There was a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat, and they could have done it, quicker and a little more slick, and did all those spots, and it still made sense.
Yeah,
but it just wasn't my favorite thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. We then saw Mance Warner, who is not medically cleared to wrestle still, but he's coming back from an injury. It kind of felt nice to see him. He's been a big part of GCW. It's a bummer that he got hurt in an independent show. So it was good to see him get his little moment here on this big event. He comes out, he starts cutting a promo talking about, how they wouldn't be there without the guys in the back and Brett Lauderdale and the fans. And he is interrupted by Atticus Kogar. Kogar basically says that Second Gear Crew, SGC, are just a bunch of Brett Lauderdale snakes, and he kind of talks them down a bit, to which Warner says, last time I saw the doctor, he said, I'm not cleared to wrestle, but he didn't say anything about me beating some punk ass bitch. And he starts throwing down with Kogar. And then the rest of Kogar's group, 44, was it OH? 44OH?
440.
440. It's the air code to Ohio.
It's Ohio. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So the rest of his group comes out, and then we get Matthew Justice coming in for the save. We got a little bit of a brawl going on, and then all of a sudden the lights go out. And when they come back on, it's Sting. When they come back on, Carl, we see one Bill Alfonso and Sabu in the ring. Fonzie with the whistle. They got chairs, and then they take out the 440H crew, 440 crew. What'd you think of Sabu and Bill Alfonso showing up here, Carl? How'd that
Any
make you
freaking
feel?
time that I see Sabu on my screen, I'm happy. Anytime. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care what it is he's doing.
He
could be. He could just lay down inside of the ring while there's a match going on, and I would pop because it's Sabu, 100%.
Yeah, it was very. I was popping more for Bill Alfonso than I was Sabu. I'm gonna be honest.
My favorite.
It was crazy to see them both, as Dara Amazing says. It's just crazy to see Sabu and Bill Alfonso.
My favorite tweet of the night. I wish I could. I can't remember who said it, but they're like, "It's not Sabu until it's Sabu." Like when the lights went out, like everybody's like, "Is it going to be Sabu?" But it's not him until he shows up. That's cool. They definitely leaned into the ECW thing a lot, which they should have. They're at the Hammers team. The only thing I didn't particularly enjoy about the segment is I know that the Atticus Kogar group is like anti GCW. That's the storyline that they tell. But that group is kind of like your next wave of like Nick Gage's, if you will, in the death match scene that you still rely heavy on. I would have liked to see him get a like more prominent spot, but I think being in there with Sabu is something he's probably in backstage in a shoot going, check, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
But in kayfabe sense, maybe give them something a little more, not get their asses kicked so easy, if you will. You kind of punked him out there.
Oh, once Sabu shows up, it's over. You got no chance against Sabu.
If I'm splitting hairs.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed that the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal Sabu does not fuck with COVID and was wearing his mask the entire time.
100%. He was like, I ain't messing with nothing.
He's a smart man.
2022 is a wild time.
I don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah, he's like, I'll jump off this fucking balcony right here. I'm wearing my mask. All right.
You want to throw me into rusty barbed wire? I'm your guy.
Yeah.
COVID?
No. Keep my mask on. Good for him. Great individual.
If Sabu can wear a mask in 2022, so can you.
Yeah, anybody can.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly. He got eliminated this week anyway.
Yeah.
Good for him. Waffle Box says, how many people who weren't wearing their masks suddenly put one on? Okay, if that dude isn't messing with COVID, who am I? Exactly. Like one of those, like if Sabu ain't messing around, what kind of individual am I? Let me put my mask back up over my chin. Thank you. Oh man. But we were watching it. Carl, Pluggo, you were there too. We were watching it, and Carl was like, is that really Sabu? Because he never took off his mask. He's like, is that really Sabu? Like he couldn't tell. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, it is. It is.
I saw him just take it down, and then I went back. I'm like, okay, yep, that's Sabu. Okay.
Good stuff. If only, I made a joke because after everything happened, they started playing Walk by Pantera, and that was RVD's ECW music. So I was like, oh, they're playing RVD's song, but no, he wasn't there. If he was there with them, that would have been just incredible. It was already a great moment. If RVD was there. Yeah.
I think RVD's too busy living his best life.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course he is.
All right. We then get and his girlfriend. And
he's having a good time. He's having a good time. I mean, he's enjoying, like you said, he's enjoying his life. We then get the lone women's match of the evening. Which was Allie Catch going one-on-one with one Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho got the victory here, which I felt bad for Ruby Soho because they booed her when she won because the crowd was like, well, Allie Catch is our girl here. She's the GCW girl. That's who we wanted to win. And you could see in Ruby Soho's reaction after she won, she's like, I didn't book the shit. Like, I'm just here. I'm here to, yeah, I didn't, what? Like, because the crowd, obviously, they were super excited to see her when she came there. And when she came out, she got a great pop, as you would expect her to do, right? And then they have a pretty decent match. I thought it was nothing spectacular, but it was a pretty solid wrestling match. And Soho gets the win, which, you know, it is a GCW event. You would have liked to see the GCW performer get the victory, but Ruby Soho is on national television. She's a bigger star in the wrestling world. You understand why they would book it for her to get the victory here, but the crowd that was there, they did not like it that much. And it kind of made and Waffle Buck saying, are you saying Boo or Ruby? Maybe they were saying Ruby, but I think they were a little disappointed that Allie didn't get the win here. But Pluggo, I'll let you lead. What'd you think about this match between Ruby Soho and Allie Catch?
I thought it was a good match. I enjoyed both performers really well. Like you said, though, the GCW, like I said earlier, the GCW crowd loves their own, and you can see it, and that those are their people. They're like, we love that you showed up, Ruby. We're happy you're here, but that's our girl. And was it a weird booking decision? Maybe, but I thought the match was fine. I really did. I enjoyed both of them, like you said. And Ruby, maybe, just maybe, this is something they've got worked out where we'll see something like this again. Maybe she'll be back, because I think GCW, that's something they need, is some of these prominent women wrestlers coming into their promotion and working with the Alley Catches of the world to get that side of the thing going real strong, because I think that's what they're missing. So I thought it was a good match. Poor Ruby, man. She finally wins a big spot and they boo her.
They're like, what the hell? Her reaction was just so good. It was just like, she literally was like, I don't have the pencil. Like, I'm just here to perform, you know? I thought it was funny, but it was kind of like, man. She's like, what do you want me to do? Lawrence, your opinion of this match and Ruby Soho getting the victory?
Yeah, it was a fine match. Like, I enjoyed it, but like, it did like reek of like the agreement with AEW that they could have had for the match, that they clearly wanted Ruby Soho to look strong.
Yeah,
I felt that was the agreement they had with Tony Khan. Like, if we're going to use one of our bigger stars, they've got to win. Like, it's been this one-off match. Like, because they're still trying to build her to look strong on their TV show.
Yeah,
but like, it was a fine match. Like, they're both incredibly talented. Like, I love Allie Catch. She's been killing it in GCW. Like, also, like, the promo for this match was amazing.
Oh, the video before that, excellent.
Like, better than a lot of stuff WWE does lately.
Yeah, really,
like
really good.
Like, so smart, and like, Allie Catch can do voiceover work or acting work. After that, I'm like, wow, she's really fucking good at this. She can do voiceover artists. Like, but yeah, I enjoyed the match. Like, I'd like to see them go at it again, and like a little bit of a longer match, because they can definitely put out a banger if you give them time to.
Absolutely.
The promo at the beginning, all the promos that they did, like the video packages, were really well done.
The one that they had promoting the show, like at the beginning, promoting throughout the whole. Once they announced the event, they did a really good job.
They killed
with the kind of that. Yeah,
they make you invested even if you're not a regular watcher with those. Like you said, like the WWE ones are great and all, but they're centered around, like, you know, the storyline where it's like, oh, you're a bitch. Like, I want more than that. Like, they really, like, all those performers really dug into, like Cardona said, best of luck in your future endeavors. And Allie Catches was, you know, you're not the right look. You're not the right type. You're not what we're looking, you know, it really makes you get behind these people that go, we can be here at GCW and make just as big a splash in the wrestling world that we could if we were at the WWE.
100%. And Carl, I will round it out with you before we move on. Your final opinions of the Allie Catch Ruby Soho match here.
Allie Catch tonight was amazing. She proved to a worldwide audience what GCW already knows, is that she can hang with anyone. She can hang with the best women out there. All I got to say is, I mean, everybody knows who Ruby Soho is. You really need to keep watching Allie, because at some point you're going to be seeing her Monday, Friday, Wednesday, who knows what day, one of those, but you were definitely going to be seeing her. Allie Catch, legit.
Yeah.
Proved it to everybody tonight. I think, anyways.
I would agree. All right, rock and roll. So then we get one-on-one. We have Effie going against good old Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Man, who would have thought that we'd be seeing Jeff Jarrett in a GCW ring in 2022? But we did. And this was an outcome that I was not expecting. It was an outcome I was rooting for. I was rooting for Jeff Jarrett. But, Jeff Jarrett gets the victory here in this match, which I was not expecting at all. Effie is a top-tier main eventer for that company. I was expecting Effie to get the victory, especially on Jeff Jarrett, who's in his 50s, like not with the company. But I agree with Darren Amazing. Jarrett can work at his age. I thought this was a pretty solid match. At the end, Jarrett does use the guitar. He hits it over Effie's head, who it doesn't really affect Effie. He screams in his face, but then he kind of does that like headlock kind of drive to the ground with the chair still on Effie to kind of like a. It was very violent looking move, and that actually got the pinfall. Carl, I'm going to come right back to you. What'd you think about seeing Jeff Jarrett in this environment at the age of 54 years old, this late in his career? And what'd you think about him getting the victory over one of the true stars of GCW and Effie here?
I absolutely loved seeing Jeff Jarrett again. I have always been a Jeff Jarrett fan. And command line, sober, fit Jarrett is looking good. You're damn right. And I'm so happy about that. I hope we get to see a little bit more Jeff Jarrett. I don't care where. I just want to see some more Jeff Jarrett. And you're right. Like, holy hell. Jeff Jarrett and those belt throws.
He was whipping the crap out of Effie with that belt.
That was absolutely insane.
Yes.
And for Effie to take all of that, I have been hit inside of the ring with many, many things, including leather belts, Singapore canes, crutches. I don't care what it is. I've been hit with it. To be hit that many times, I don't think that even I could have done that. And I did extreme wrestling. So, oh my God. But Jeff Jarrett hitting the stroke to get that win with the guitar wrapped around Effie's head.
Yeah.
Oh, it was glorious. I loved seeing it.
Yeah. And I was going to, you said you want to see more Jeff Jarrett. Bobby kind of leads to it, but I know this isn't a WWE show, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see Mr. Jarrett pop back up in the Rumble next weekend. He was just on SmackDown on Friday. He did this marquee matchup on this show tonight. It would make sense. And like Command Line said, Jarrett looked great tonight. He looked in shape. He was moving. It wasn't like he was just there to collect a paycheck. He was wrestling tonight, and he looked great. I would definitely like to see if he can be used to help other wrestlers. He is that type of veteran who can still go, put people over, and just experience and knowledge and things of that nature. Lawrence, I'll slide it to you. What'd you think of this match in general, and how do you feel about Jeff Jarrett getting the victory over Effie here?
I felt it was coming. I think from a storyline perspective, it makes more sense because I didn't think it was just a one-off thing because they keep mentioning why Jeff Jarrett was there in the first place, and he's never fully explained why and what he means. But he's the last outlaw there, and he's got more to do in GCW. They clearly have plans for him there.
Yeah,
to do a little more. It was definitely a brutal match. It definitely showed that Effie is one of the toughest son of a bitches there. He straight up has said he doesn't do death matches wearing a t-shirt or anything. He just doesn't know exactly what you wear. His regular gear and his fishnets because he thinks it's cheating. Wearing thing. He has been through wars and he's one of the tougher wrestlers there to do that. And he took a beating in this match with that kid. The welts on his back were hard to look at by the end.
Crazy.
They were bubbling up.
Yeah.
That also that guitar shot is stiff as hell. That's a that just doesn't look fun. That not a very gimmick guitar that he puts there. He is instantly bleeding after taking it to the head and then getting dropped with it around his neck. Like they put together a really fun match. Like I think it showed off Jeff Jarrett just looking jacked at 50. Like that's the first thing I noticed. Like, wow, he's in way better shape than I expected him to be.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And like he like they definitely did a good job with each other. I'm excited to see them go at it again in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Pluggo, round out this conversation about Effie and Jeff Jarrett here before we move on.
I think you guys all hit it pretty on the head for all the things I would have said if I would have led this thing off. Like Jarrett looks amazing. Those belt shots, the Effie taking that finisher through the chair. That guitar, like you said, I don't think it's those old exploding guitars of the back of the WWE days. Like I think it was designed so it holds on because it's a great visual for the finisher. And I think there's more to do here. And I think eventually we might see something where Allie Katch gets involved as well, Effie, and then maybe Jarrett. Maybe there's somebody coming around the pipe, for that kind of intergender tag match. But overall, I mean, again, it's 2022 and Jeff freaking Jarrett is wrestling Effie in GCW at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Who would have thought, right? Like, insanity.
Yeah. And Waffle Box says, now that the Forbidden Door has been opened slightly, how cool would it be for Jarrett to be in the Rumble, but Effie makes a run in and eliminates him, and they fight into the crowd? That would be quite a moment. I don't think it will happen, but that would be cool as hell. Just put over like a smaller company.
Yeah, it'd be dope for like the minority of the crowd. Sadly, who know who Effie is. Like, I would lose my fucking mind if Effie showed up in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
like that's
maybe one of those things when they worked with ECW, like in the mid '90s, before ECW blew up, and half the crowd was like, "Oh, we know these guys," or like a small section was like, "Yeah, it's ECW," and everyone else was like, "Who the hell are these guys showing up on Raw right here, beating people up? I don't know who the hell this is." It'd be like that. But the people that knew Effie they'd be like, "Oh my god, this is incredible."
Well, unfortunately, Double J is going to come out at the Rumble if he comes out. He's going to
he's going to be wearing.
He's not going to be
the lone cowboy, the last cowboy, or whatever he is.
Not whatever this is. So it'd be a weird way to do it, but I'd be down with that. Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm up for anything. This point.
All right. We then get, which I know a lot of us were shocked. We then got the GCW World Title match. So at this point, the two matches that were left were the Briscoe Brothers Open Challenge and the World Title match. So when we saw the World Title match happening next, it was like, oh, something big must be happening for the Briscoe Brothers, or is the match on? Like, what's going on? You would expect the World Title match to headline the show. But regardless, we got Jon Moxley's GCW return to defend and retain his GCW title, defeating Homicide. I thought this match was okay. I thought the ending was very abrupt. I wasn't expecting it to end like as quickly or like as just, it was just kind of out of nowhere a little bit, the way the end happened. Lawrence, I'll start with you. What did you think about the match in general between Moxley and Homicide? And were you kind of like me that you thought the end was just kind of like, that was the end? All right, cool. All right. He retained. That's how I felt, at least.
Yeah. Like it felt like they're building for a longer match throughout. Then like all of a sudden it was over. And it was a fine match. It wasn't the best one. Especially for GCW, you expected something slightly different for their world title match, and almost completely straight singles match. But it was really fun to see Jon Moxley back out there again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm happy they're still doing stuff with him, or going to be doing stuff with him in GCW coming up. And it was a good match, but with anything, it was sort of too slowly paced for me at the beginning. It did interest did wane throughout, and right when it started getting interesting, it was sort of over.
Yeah, it just seemed whether it was just the pacing of it or just it just seemed like something was just a tad off. Yeah. Command line says, wonder if somebody called something in the ring and they had to improvise. Somebody getting just hurt a little bit or gassed. I don't know, but it did seem like there was something a little bit off. But Pluggo, I'll go to you next, and then we'll round it out with Carl. your opinions of what you thought of the match just in general. And obviously, like Lawrence said, with Moxley winning, that means that Moxley will be sticking around GCW some more. So that's a good thing. I think it's cool to see him in that spot, being the heavyweight champion and being in the AEW, but doing this. And yeah, so what'd you think about this match and just Moxley retaining here?
Oh, I thought it was a little rushed. I'm interested to see, like, I don't know how it works for Fight TV, but it did hard end at 11.
Yeah.
There wasn't an over, so maybe they had all,
Well, we're going to talk about, because the next match had a weird ending
like,
too.
maybe they had
main
to
event,
take some stuff off the end to kind of fit it in if that's what they were going for. I'm happy to see Mox is back. For me, if we're being completely honest, and I know we want to, and I don't mean this as a criticism at all. This was like John Moxley's second match back. I don't think they're going to pull, as much as they probably would have loved to have 110% full Mox going crazy, bloodied up, thumbtack, all that fun, the whole nine. I think it was like, hey, second match back, he's still got some ring rust. You could tell it was a little slower paced, and maybe they did play it safe at first, but it could, and maybe they're saving it, because if he's sticking around, he's winning the title. Maybe there's something bigger down the chute. I mean, again, no offense to Homicide. I think I said this to you guys earlier tonight when we were watching. It's just Homicide. Like, yeah, he's a big deal, but he's not. You know what I mean? This isn't like Nick Gage. Save that. He's so I'm just happy to see John Moxley's back. He looks like $1 million.
Oh yeah, he looks amazing. And Pluggo, it's because they also were on pay-per-view for the first time, so I think the pay-per-view made him hard out at 11. Like, usually when they're on Fight,
okay,
yeah, it was the first time they're on pay-per-view simultaneously with Fight.
Yeah, because I watched it on Fight, and I don't think I've ever seen
I did too.
It be an issue where you couldn't go over on Fight. But if it's on
pay-per-view, if there was the pay-per-view element, then for sure they're going to have a cutoff time.
You don't want that WCW.
Yeah, exactly. And Carl, I'll finish it up with you. What did you think of this world title match that we saw, the GCW heavyweight title?
We saw a world title match.
Yeah,
like
it was weird.
It just seemed
was a little weird, right?
So it definitely was, and I mean, because of the placement of it, like we talked about while we were watching it, it should have been the main event. It's their world title. It should have been the match to end the night. And then I'm getting all over the Twitter machine, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Is the tag match not happening? What's going on? What the fuck right now? Yeah. And then it completely took me away from the matchup. And then as I look up, I see a paradigm shift onto a single chair and a win. And I'm like,
yeah, it was just out of nowhere. That's very.
Do you guys think Tony Khan maybe was like, look, you guys, we work together, but can we keep Moxley healthy? Like, let's not go full GCW. Because it just felt like it was a very safe match. Like, for a GCW, for a world title, like Lawrence said, this isn't normally, it's like a big, world title matches are big deals, and it's all this pomp and circumstance, and this just seemed very like, let's just get from point A to point B so we can move on.
I mean,
very possible.
Yeah, it's possible they went that way. Waffle Box, he said we don't know how he is, and everyone is different, but you don't ask someone fresh out of rehab to kill themselves in the ring. It's probably not worth the risk. Yeah. All right. So, and I think because of that, everyone's opinion is, oh man, that means that something huge
it wasn't
going to happen. And this, and we're talking FTR. I mentioned the Hardy Boy. I'm like, something crazy is going to happen here. So then we get to the main event, and it's the Briscoe brothers. They come out, the GCW Tag Team Champions. They're defending their titles in an open challenge. They come out first. We're waiting. This is the main event now. So I think expectations have risen because it is now the main event from the in-house crowd and the people watching at home. Then we see Matt Tremont first, who I know is kind of a deathmatch legend. But for someone like me, I did not know who this person was. So he came out and I was like, oh, all right, cool. And then in my brain, I'm like, all right, it's got to be Nick Gage. It has to be Nick Gage. If this guy's part of the match, He's a deathmatch guy. It would feel weird not have the biggest show in the history of the company. You're not going to have the wrestler that most people identify with your company there. And I'm not saying it made sense that Nick Gage was the partner. It made sense that Nick Gage was there for that audience, for GCW. He is the epitome of GCW. But at the same time, that was super underwhelming to me, especially when you make it the main event of the night. You could have done that first and got the Nick Gage pop first to open the show. Then everyone's fucking jacked up. Oh shit, Nick Gage is here. And then they end up winning the tag titles, it's a good moment. It tells me that maybe the Briscoe brothers might be on AEW television rather soon or somewhere else rather soon. But they get the tag titles, which is good. It's back in-house. Nick Gage is a prominent figure, so him having a title is not a bad thing. I just felt like once you know this match is the main event, it raises the expectations. You're expecting a dip. You're like, oh, so this is going to be something real big is happening. And I just didn't feel like, as much as I like Nick Gage and I was happy and the crowd was losing their mind, like it was a good moment. I just felt like I was expecting more because I now knew it was the main event. I don't know if I'm alone, Carl. I'll start with you. Were you kind of feeling like I was feeling? What'd you think of? And we talked about this match had a very weird, abrupt finish as well. It almost looked like it could have been a mess up, a botch of sorts. Jay Briscoe particularly was very pissed off at the referee right after it happened. So I don't know if it was, hey, we had to rush. We were running out of time. Sorry. You were going to lose anyway. And he was like, well, that fucking wasn't what it was supposed to. I don't know. You've wrestled in the ring, Carl. I don't know your perspective of just the match in general, how you felt about Gage and Tremont being the surprise, being someone who hasn't watched a lot of GCW in the past, and what you thought of the ending and how that kind of looked to you.
It all looked rushed. The entire thing looked way too much entirely rushed. And yeah, command line is right there. You could have even called it at the beginning of the open challenge was accepted, had Gage video promo. Yeah, it did. Waffle Box as well just before that said, if it's not for Nick Gage, I don't know what GCW is. So to have him in the main event spot on their biggest show,
it makes sense.
Definitely.
It 100% makes sense.
Right. It just it was way too quick. It was way too quick of a matchup. And again, time constraints. Yeah, I get it, but this match should have gone on a little bit longer. And yes, underwhelming because we were all talking, like you said, FTR, Hardy Boys, like who could it be?
Young Bucks. Like we were throwing like it's a main event for the titles. Once you know it's there, that's what we were talking about, right? Those were the teams that we were throwing out there to each other, like, oh, who's this going to be? It's got to be a big deal. Like, it's got to be FTR, right? It has to be someone, And I'm not saying like to the GCW audience, Nick Gage is that caliber.
Yes.
I get it. It just felt like, and Lawrence, I'll let you go next. Like that was just my impression of it. Carl, you seem to be kind of agreeing with how I felt, how I perceived it. Yeah, I don't know if the room is that way in general. Lawrence, I'll let you go.
Well, I'm going to coin this right now. It was the Hammerstein screw job. Hammerstein screw job.
Before you go, Lawrence, breaking news. The Briscoes tweeted about 20 minutes ago, fuck them pay-per-view time restraints.
Okay. Well,
that's exactly it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like it is what it is. Like I felt honestly going into it, if it was like it didn't make sense that FTR would go for the GCW titles. I feel like they'd go for the ROH ones. Like it just makes more sense that way, and like they'd probably have it in AEW. So I felt like that it had to probably be Nick Gage because like he had to be on the card somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like and he started talking about that he's going to be back soon, so he had to be at the Hammerstein show. So, like, especially that the last match, like, I thought he was going to be possibly involved in the title match, the heavyweight title match.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought might have happened. But when the tag match was going last, I'm like, all right, like, I don't know who his tag partner is going to be. Because it's like, So like the person's tag, right? I didn't know who he was, but it was definitely like hampered by them going on pay-per-view. Like it's for them, it's probably best to stick with Fight from here on out.
Yeah,
because like that definitely hurt that match, and like came to an awkward finish.
Yeah, it really did.
Well, I think that's something they can learn from, right?
Exactly. It's their first go around.
We saw that in AEW when they
first started. They had some time.
Yeah, they had to get out quick.
I mean, it's a big first step, but I think what you'll do if you're Brett Lauderdale, right? You'll sit down and you'll look at this show, and there's a ton to be proud of. Overall, it was a great night, but I think you're going to see where you could have cut some time to really leave us, because that's what you want to do with the pay-per-view, especially this caliber, is leave us on a high.
Yeah,
leave us going, did you see that at the end, that Briscoe's Nick Gage, if it is Tremont and Nick Gage, did you see that match? It went 20 minutes. It was insanity. Instead, it was like 5-10, and it was quick, and it was done, and we're kind of like, what happened? Same with maybe Mox and Homicide. That could have been the same thing. They had to rush through. So all I'm going to say is Matt Cardona's Funhouse could have been a few minutes shorter.
Command Line agrees with you. He says you could have cut out the Swoggle, Marco, ring time, and given the main event another 5 or 10 minutes or something. Like,
you don't have to cut it out, just shorten it, tighten it up.
Shorten it. And like you said, plug up.
They're going to learn.
Yeah.
They're going to learn.
Yeah,
they're going to get better.
I think that's something for the next one will be, okay, this is where we went wrong here. So let's just improve. And that's how. And that was a good call out by you. Like AEW, I was at All In Chicago in that main event. Rey Mysterio was in that main event, by the way.
Right, and it was only
it was like 12 minutes long because they fucked up the time because some matches went too long. And that's Rey Mysterio was there. Like
pay-per-view is big business, and they do have hard. Now that we've talked about it, and I've listened to some stuff in the past. Like very, very hard because it's expensive to get those slots.
Oh, yeah.
30-minute pay-per-view slot is big money. And if you go over and mess up something else. So, yeah, stick with Fight. I think that would be just fine. I don't see why people wouldn't go through. I didn't know people still bought pay-per-view when you have the option to buy it just on Fight on your phone. Yeah. But yeah, they'll learn. I think they'll learn. I think overall, if we're going to just, tie this, then bring this thing home, I think it was a great night. It brought a lot of eyes to a product that maybe you didn't know. And you're going to, like I always say with these things, you're going to find some people that you like, and you're going to start following them. And you know what? I'm more likely now to buy the next one because oh, wow, that was really good. They tightened the screws up. I think they're fine.
Yeah. And after the victory, Nick Gage cuts a promo. The whole GCW roster gets in the ring with him, and he does his MDK all day promo. He starts a little bit. He goes, I had to take some time off, had to get the body right, the mind right, and the soul right. But I love you guys. I wasn't going to miss this show. And now he is one half of the new GCW Tag Team Champions, and he did his MDK all effing day. For the big crowd, they got the big pop at the end, and that's how we got sent off with Nick Gage. Like I said, and a few people said, basically the face of GCW in the ring, new tag champs. And like Pluggo said, I agree. I think all in all, if you bought this pay-per-view trying to I'm going to check out this GCW, they get a lot of buzz. I think you were satisfied, and I think you'll probably be paying attention to the next couple ones as well. As buddy Dan says, I think the pay-per-view is because Brett wanted to prove that an indie could do a traditional pay-per-view, and that was a big thing for him. Yeah, he was very much motivated. You could tell by the interviews and the promos leading up to it that he was very much motivated to be like, hey, we're legit here and we're real, and you people need to pay attention to us.
Well, now you've proved it. Just go back to what works and don't worry about hard outs.
Yeah, hard outs, man.
Hard outs will kill you.
Yeah, they will. But like you said, it's a learning experience. So moving forward, I expect them to kind of learn from there. You can always learn and tighten things up. But before we get out of here, we got to talk about some sponsors, pay some bills around here. As you can see here, manscaped.com. If you go to manscaped.com and you type in the code Love Wrestling, you will receive 20% off your first purchase as well as free shipping from Manscaped. I've been a customer of Manscaped for years now. I've had the lawnmower 3.0. I've had the brand new lawnmower 4.0. Crop preserver. They have ball deodorant. They have ball wipes. They have all sorts of things for the male private parts to maintain, make you feel fresh, clean, all sorts of things. Carl, I know you're a big fan of Manscaped as well. Anything to say about our lovely friends and partners over at manscaped.com?
It is the best shaver for my balls that I have ever had. And I have tried numerous different ones, from big name companies to buying at dollar store crap. This is honestly the best thing that I've ever used. I absolutely love it. Is it world changing? Yeah, actually it is. For me, it has been. It definitely was. The stuff is amazing. The ball toner every day, even if I've just stepped out of the shower, use the crop preserver an hour later before I go out, it's like, and I'm good to go. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, go to manscaped.com, type in the code Love Wrestling, let them know that we sent you there and that you guys love us. Show us some love there, and you will get 20% off plus free shipping. I could not recommend a company more. They have been excellent since I've started using them years and years ago. So that definitely want to check that out. We also want to talk about RK Athletics. They have been a sponsor of ours since day one here at Love Wrestling. So if you're looking for any personal training or just guidance to kind of get healthier, if you feel like you need some assistance, give them a follow on all social medias at RK Athletics 1. It's a great group of people there, and they've been supporting us since day one, so we appreciate them very, very much. And then you might have seen us posting some of this stuff lately over at whatamaneuver.net/collections/love-wrestling-ca. Head over there. They're a great company. Follow them on the Twitter, too. They have a great social media presence, a great Twitter profile, very funny, very pulp culture. Like they keep it with the times. They're very good. So give them a follow. Head over there. We got Love Wrestling merch. You can buy some Between Two Beards merch from me and this guy over here. We're adding stuff. Our very friend Astrid, she just got a shirt on there from The Natural. Everyone's going to be kind of getting some stuff over there. We're very happy with the Water Maneuver crew. So head over there as well. All right, boys. Thanks for and Darren Amazing. Thanks for you being there. And you're always good with your facts and kind of fact checking when we don't know what the hell we're talking about and things like that. So thank you.
All the time.
I know. We can go around the room. We can plug our shit, and then we can get out of here. Lawrence, where can the people find you on social media? Got anything coming up? Plug your stuff, my friend.
Yep. You can follow me at KurtCNDG on Instagram and Twitter. And my show will be launching hopefully next month, or I'm going to have a date coming up soon.
Nice.
With hopefully, and I'm going to be announcing a guest soon. It's Cheap Pop. You can follow Cheap Pop Show on Instagram and Twitter. That way you can see announcements, but also on my stuff on my socials. And it's great talking to you guys.
Oh, absolutely. Always a pleasure. I kind of sought you out because I know you watch GCW. So when they announced this show, you were the first person I mentioned. I'm like, bro, we are doing a reacts to this. Yeah. So I don't know who else will be with us, but we are doing it. So
and then I was like, guys, hi.
Carl,
and they're like, who invited Pluggo?
That's what I said. Who invited Pluggo? Carl, obviously Turnbuckle Talk, but plug when can the people hear it? What day is it on? Where can they find you on the social medias? And plug anything else you want to plug, my friend.
Turnbuckle Talk at TB Talk Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can see it live Tuesdays at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometimes 8:05 depending on the shoot job schedule, but typically 6:05. This Tuesday it will be at 6:05. You're going to find it at TB Talk Pod on Facebook, as well as you'll find it on the Love Wrestling YouTube and Twitch page.
Awesome. And Pluggo, I'll let you go last, my friend. I heard you have a show on Thursday night sometimes or something like that.
Sometimes.
We got a big guest coming up this Thursday night?
Yeah, every Thursday night at now starting at 8 p.m. officially. We've moved up in time because we need to spend more of Spencer's money. Between Two Beards here on the Love Wrestling channels. We'll have Billy Starks
very
coming
excited
on
about
Thursday
this.
night,
very excited
8 o'clock.
this.
She's going to hang out for the hour. That'll be a good time. One of the up and comers on the independent wrestling scene. If you don't know her, get to know her. She's
got booked in a match against Diana Perazzo coming up.
Huge match.
Huge match there. Huge
so
match.
You can find us you can find me at Pluggo_ on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or I don't know if I want to let you plug it or not, but Between Two Beards on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We have a TikTok. I need to get back on that. But yes, 8:30 or 8:30. It's not. It's 8 o'clock. I'm so tired. It's late. 8 o'clock Thursday nights. Me and this gentleman here, Between Two Beards.
Yes. So give us a follow if you're still here.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here. We had a good turnout. Thank you for the raids earlier from those two wonderful people who raided. Thanks for all the comments in there. Give Love Wrestling a follow. If you're watching this video on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Click the bell for notifications. Give us a subscribe on Twitch. Give us a follow on Facebook. Like Pluggo said, follow B2 Beards and all that stuff too. I also do a show with Josh Robinson from Love Wrestling that drops on Thursday mornings over here on the States called the J&J Power Hour. Tomorrow we will be recording our Royal Rumble extravaganza, so that'll be coming out this Thursday morning, and then you'll catch me and Pluggo on Beards with Billy Starks Thursday night. But we got stuff on the website, almost recording or live every day here on Love Wrestling, so give us all some love. Again, we appreciate you hopping in with us tonight. I want to thank all three gentlemen that popped in, Lawrence, Carl, and Pluggo. This was a fun time. This is the first time we've actually had a react or talk some real GCW on this site, so hopefully we can do this a lot more moving forward. But until next time, for the rest of these gentlemen, I'm JPJ. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.